Hello, Phoenix here. Behind the Mask, episode 10. So, today, first of all, for those who might be watching and seeing this for the first time, this is my social experiment in showing up from behind the mask, kind of giving myself permission to show up unpolished, unfiltered, to really explore my own dimensionality. And also with this deeper desire to welcome vulnerability as, as a superpower. Um, so today I would like to talk about the beginning and the end. There is this song by Ayla Nerio that I love. That was a really beautiful kind of symbol for me several years ago when I was going through a pretty painful separation. And it says, is every ending is a beginning if you choose it. So every ending is a beginning if you choose it. And yeah, I've been sitting with that. There's been so many endings in my life over the past couple of years, and in particular this year. And I've been meeting these endings, and in that, not necessarily kind of having the bandwidth or the spaciousness inside of myself to kind of see what was also simultaneously beginning, or what the ending, completing, creates spaciousness for something new to emerge. And maybe 2 weeks ago, I had a session with um, a brother up in the Northern Rivers who is a guide, coach, intuitive, and we were talking about this beginning, that there is, like, I'm at the beginning of something new. And at first, when I heard that, I'm like, really? I feel like I've been in such a cocoon, such a state of metamorphosis for quite some time. And it's like, when is it time? When is it time to come out and start? There's so much ending, so much dying, so much death, so much digestion. When I realized there's no timeline on that. And so speaking with this brother a couple of weeks ago, talking about this beginning, and the way that he was describing it to me is that it's something unlike anything I've ever experienced, something that I don't even know, like something new entirely. Because as a human, it's quite easy for me to kind of grasp onto the familiar, the known, the identities, the labels. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is my purpose. This is what I share in the world. And this kind of um, pausing, liminal space of voidness where there is an imminent beginning of something new, and not knowing what that is, and giving myself permission to enter with a beginner's mind, to enter reality with a beginner's mind, any moment, because I don't really know what any experience really has in store for me unless I actually allow myself to experience it, rather than kind of projecting my expectations or programs onto what I think it's going to be like. So, yeah, in alignment with, I picked this beginning card the other day, 0, a deck that I have at home, and it felt quite, because one of the things that we were talking about when I was having this session with this brother was that when we're at the beginning, we can either just kind of hang out there in limbo, or we can actually choose to begin. And that kind of reminds me of that song. Every ending is a beginning if you choose it. And there's this idea of choice, this, that everything in the universe works on some kind of consensual basis. I have to. And so since that session with that brother, I've been saying, yes, I choose to begin. And in that, that decision, that choice, choosing to begin, I've really, in these past 2 weeks, felt a lot of doors closing. And it's been perfect. It's been part of it. And in the traditional tarot deck, the same card, the zero card, the beginning, zero, is also known as the Fool. That's in the traditional tarot deck. And I really enjoyed reading. This is from an Osho deck, but I really enjoyed reading the description of the Fool because it really inspires me. Really inspires me to stand at this kind of 0 point with this fool-like quality, this beginner's mind. So in this deck, it says, a fool is one who goes on trusting. A fool is one who goes on trusting against all his experience. You deceive him and he trusts you, and you deceive him again and he trusts you, and you deceive him again and he trusts you. Then you will say that he is a fool. He does not learn. His trust is tremendous. His trust is so pure that nobody can corrupt it. I'm going to put her trust is so pure that nobody can corrupt it. So here it says, be a fool in the Zen sense. Don't try to create a wall of knowledge around you. Whatsoever experience comes to you, let it happen, and then go on dropping it. Go on cleaning your mind continuously. So you remain in the present here now, as if just born, just a babe. In the beginning, it is going to be very difficult. The world will start taking advantage of you. Let them. They are poor fellows. Even if you are cheated and deceived and robbed, let it happen, because that which is really yours cannot be robbed from you. That which is really yours, nobody can steal from you. And each time you don't allow situations to corrupt you, that opportunity will become an integration inside of you. Your soul will become more crystallized. And so here I am, the fool, trusting in life. It's one of my greatest prayers every morning, to simply trust in the path that's unfolding before me. And I thought the Fool, when I was kind of reading this morning, I thought the Fool was the first card of the deck, but it's actually 0 point. The first card is Magician, which I find really interesting, because in the body of work that I've been studying, we work with the feelings, with the emotional body, and the feeling of fear is associated with the archetype of the magician. And I find that really fascinating, because here at the beginning, not knowing what comes next, it's such a scary. I don't have any idea. I don't know what comes next. So I tend to lean into fear, concern. Oh my gosh, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be safe? Am I going to be held? Am I going to be caught? And so learning this morning, or recognizing this morning, that the first card, number 1 in the traditional tarot deck, is the Magician. It reminded me of these teachings that I've received from my teachers, that it's within the center of our fear, there's trust. And we work with the energy of the Magician, because the Magician, it doesn't allow fear to be its master. It actually utilizes fear in order to see beyond the known, to kind of wield its sorcery to carve a pathway through the unknown. And this is not something that's like scary in a sense. It's something that's exhilarating, right? Because fear and excitement, I'm sure you've heard, it's kind of this opposite side of the same coin. And so, yeah, this week I've been really sitting with the beginning, being at the beginning. And yeah, yeah, I've been on a big journey these past. Well, I want to. Where should I go? Because there's a couple of things I want to share, but I feel like I'm still marinating. I'm still seasoning in them. Though I'll start. I'll share as much as I feel comfortable sharing right now. I just completed a big piece of artwork on my body, wings that I've been kind of forming over the past 10 years, I'll say. 10 years ago, I was on a journey to the desert in the States with my former partner. We were heading into a vision quest in Arizona. And on the way, we pulled over. We saw an owl, a dead owl on the side of the road, a barn owl. And we stopped. We collected this owl. It felt like a really beautiful omen on our way to Vision Quest, understanding that the owl is here to support us to move through the unknown. Like the owl is the ultimate magician in a sense. And that was the beginning of this journey. Started 10 years ago for me with this owl medicine. And several months later, I was at an event and I was dancing and I had this vision of my body with these owl wings on it. And at the time, I just kind of welcomed that vision as a kind of an insight or as a message, that there's something about this owl that I'm here to work with. And so since then, this owl medicine has been working me. I've been working with it, I've been learning more about it as I kind of slowly move through the unknown, unraveling these known parts of myself. Um, and it wasn't until last year, um, actually, yeah, there's more to the story, but I'm going to just kind of forward a bit. It wasn't until last year that I felt ready to get these wings started on my body. Um, as I've mentioned in several episodes of my show and in lots of my posts, that marriage, that union, came to an end about 4 years ago, and I would say that was the beginning of this real deep descent into my own darkness, into my own unknown. This like unraveling of so many parts of myself that I kind of thought I had sorted. Um, and so I just, that ending began a new journey of fully beginning to earn the wings that I would eventually get onto my body. And interestingly, about 2 years ago, my former partner and I, we remained friends for several years, and we went on another journey. And on the return from that journey, there was a soul kin in my. I never actually really put that together, to be honest, till yesterday, 2 days ago. Um, though going through this deep descent over the past 4 years of unraveling identity and programs of what it means to be in relationship or what it means to be me or who I am, what I do in the world, just spiraling down, 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 down. And then right before COVID hit, I knew that my father's passing was going to be imminent. And so I knew that I was going to need this owl medicine to help support me through the darkness that would become my journey after my father's passing. And so in the beginning, like right before COVID kind of hit, lockdown hit here, I called this amazing ritual tattooist, traditional tattooist, and asked her if she would support me. And creating these wings. And so she said yes, and we began this journey. And she came to my house here in Melbourne and started working. She created the skeleton of the wings on my body. And the plan, it's a whole nother episode on plans and letting go of plans, but the plan was to complete these wings by my birthday at the end of March. So we kind of had it all mapped out. We were going to have these sessions and finish them. Originally thought it was going to be 2 sessions. They were going to happen quite smoothly and easily, and that was not the case. So COVID hit, and those wings were just a skeleton. And I had these skeleton wings, these wing skeletons of these owl wings on my body. And the plan was to get them before my father passed. However, that did not happen. My father passed during lockdown last year, June, right after solstice, which is coming up in a few days. Thus, this kind of story that I'm leading to. And so I left for America with these skeleton wings. And I feel like that journey was definitely the beginning of earning the wings. Whatever that means, what it means to me is very deep that I'm not even going to be able to get to in this conversation, but I'm going to try to share a little bit. And then returning the beginning of this year here to Melbourne, some more pieces to let go of, which was which was that friendship to my former partner, which was necessary, has been necessary at this time to continue unraveling. So many of my kind of father wounds were associated with my lovership wounds. And I really needed to take responsibility and take space to really work through them on my own without this constant reminder of these old habit patterns that weren't serving me anymore. So I made a really challenging, really difficult decision to walk away from this friendship until further notice. And that in itself has been one of the most difficult things of my life, to walk away from someone that I've known for 10 years, someone that I've loved so deeply, someone that I felt knew me better and more than anyone, simultaneously to grieving the loss of my father, which I know has been a really courageous act on my behalf for my own growth and my own healing, and my own soul's emergence. And so fast forward another few months, March, a year after the wings were begun, I contacted this woman again, this tattoo artist again, and I said, I'm ready to start working on these wings. Like I know this is part of my growth. I know that this prayer, this medicine is part of it. This ritual, this initiation is part of my kind of metamorphosing and reforming into whatever comes next, whatever version comes next. And so we started working on them. And so we had our third and our fourth session. And then after that, we realized there was still more left. And so we booked in the fifth and sixth session. And that took me up until a couple of weeks ago. And then lockdown hit again. And I was like, no, I really want to get these wings completed by the solstice, because the solstice is that 1 year container, that 1 year portal that my father passed through when he died. And I know for myself that this journey of the owl has been very, very much aligned to this journey with my father, and letting him go, and moving through the darkness to claim my own medicine, my own capacity and ability to be that magician that can weave its way through the darkness with trust, with intuition, with an inner knowing. And so a few days ago, I returned for my final session, and had the wings completed. And something's shifted in me. Not only do I feel like this 10-year journey, right? Because remember I said I had this vision 10 years ago when we found the owl on the side of the road 10 years ago. Had that vision, been through this, like moving to Australia, being in a partnership, a long-term committed partnership, that partnership ending, diving into this like dismantling of my ego and identity, Phoenix being born, father passing away, making a decision to let go of this friendship with this former partner, and getting these wings completed. And I'll say that when I was there these past few days getting these wings completed, there was a moment when we were working on the right side of the body that was so excruciating. Like, I wanted to vomit. I was just couldn't sit still. It was like fire, felt like fire. Like I was being touched by fire, and I couldn't, my body could not handle it. And so I needed to stop and say, okay, let's pause and start fresh in the morning. And so I went to bed and then woke up the next morning and had this impulse to reach out for help, to reach out to my community, to people who I love, to people who love me, and ask for their support in this prayer. And this prayer, I wasn't expecting to actually share this story. So this prayer, these wings are no mere tattoo. They are a part of my sacred instructions to remind me of who I am, what I am capable of, and my service to my people in this life. I felt so afraid to receive these wings because I know they carry big medicine. And sometimes I have wished to stay small for fear of the path that may not always be smooth. So, however, the barn owl whose wings I've been receiving has the keenest capacity of all the birds to see through the utter darkness. It can literally map the blackness with its listening, similar to the sonar of a bat. It needs no eyes to see, only to trust in its knowing of its ability. This is my prayer. And I ask to those people that I sent this message to, I ask you to hold this prayer with and for me, because I'm slowly beginning to realize that I don't need to carry this prayer alone anymore, for it's so much bigger than me. I pray that I may see through the darkness with the inextinguishable light inside of me, that my heart may lead me from darkness to light, from confusion to clarity, and from fear to trust. And may this light inside of me be of support to my family, my friends, and my people. So together we may rise from the depths in remembrance of our sacred service to this earth and all her children, and see with new eyes the world that our ancestors and we have been praying for, and that has been praying for us with all of our hearts. So I sent this message to a whole bunch of people in my community, and also sent this message to my former partner as well, whom I haven't spoken to in 5 months. And that was a really big edge for me. And in my message, I acknowledged the journey that I've been on, and the huge catalyst that this brother has had in my life to help initiate me into this medicine, my medicine. that has required me to enter into my own darkness so that I can learn to see with new eyes. And I realized after sending that message that this brother actually came into my life to show me my medicine. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be who I am right now or where I am right now. Because the owl didn't come to me alone. The owl came to he and I 10 years ago and 2 years ago. And this container of years that I've been journeying with the owl medicine, I never actually took into account that it was a shared medicine, a shared wisdom that required this beautiful brother's assistance. And the thing is, when we love someone, doesn't mean that they're always going to stick around or they're always going to be there. Though what I've been learning through this journey with the owl and letting go of this friendship for now is that the love just grows deeper and deeper and deeper because it's like not a human love. My human still is kind of working its kind of wounds out. Though on a soul level, this love is stronger than ever. It's eternal. And the gift that this brother has brought into my life has been probably one of the greatest gifts that I'm here to carry into the next chapter of my life. And so, in getting these wings completed over the past few days, I feel like there's been a completion, like a 10-year saga of my life has been completed. And in sending that request to this beautiful man and ask an acknowledgement of the journey that we had been on and an acknowledgement of the catalyst that this person has been in my life, I feel like I gave myself permission to fully let go and tie a beautiful, gorgeous bow onto this past chapter of my life so that I can fully step into the next chapter. In the message that I sent to him, I wrote that I'm ready to fly out of the darkness and towards my destiny, whatever that means. So I feel like I'm at ground zero now, complete, whole and complete, so whole and so complete, and more of myself than I've ever been, not carrying, embodying this medicine that has been gifted to me through such deep love and commitment and pain and growth and loss and grief. And I'm ready to fly out of the darkness towards my destiny. And so I'm at the beginning. I'm at 0 point. And where it goes from here, I don't know. Though I've got the medicine inside of me, of the magician, of the owl, with the capacity to see through the darkness, to see through the unknown, to not need to know, with my mind, to not need to know through the lens of old programs, though to see with eyes that can see beyond what my mind can understand, to hear with ears that can hear beyond what my mind thinks it knows, to see and feel through this unknown terrain that only a magician, a sorceress, an owl can see, because that's the medicine that we carry. And it's not unique to me. We all carry this medicine. Like we all carry this, you know? I'm just a bold Aries Sicilian from New York who chooses to claim my gifts as fervently as I know how. And so here I am at 0 point, the beginning, and we'll see where I fly to from here. Though I do know that I've got everything I need, fully supported in all of my actions. That's the last thing I'm going to say. I said that when we were working on the right side on the first night, it was like burning, felt like fire. Though after I sent out those messages in particular, and I do believe it was all those messages, including the one to my former partner, um, it was a part of me saying that I don't need to carry this on my own anymore. That this medicine that I carry is for, it's like, it's my gift to the world. And it's not something that I'm going to carry on my own. It's something like this service that I have to give to the world, these gifts that I come bearing in the world. It's like, it's our gift. It's our gift. And that requires us to work together, to support one another, to hold one another, to pray for one another, to encourage one another, to empower one another. And 4 years ago, I would have never asked for help. I was so caught up in like needing to maintain an image of having it all together. Like it's weak to be vulnerable, it's weak to ask for help. Though over these past 4 years, I've needed so much help. And right here at the beginning, I need just as much help. So, just as much love, just as much support, just as much encouragement as I've ever needed to keep on deepening and honing in on that capacity to see with these new eyes. And so, yeah, after I sent out those messages, we came back to, I couldn't even sit for 2 hours the night before. And the last day, I sat for 14 hours getting hand poked. And when we got to the right, that same part that was like on fire, it was easeful because I asked for help and I was being held energetically by so many people who love me, including my former partner, who I know still loves me so much. Even though we are not currently in connection, there's a connection that goes beyond this time and space. And I trust. I trust. I trust. I trust. So wherever these next steps from this 0 point take me, lead me, like the fool, I trust. And I'm going to keep on trusting and allowing that trust to pave the way into the next. Aho. And so it is.